22.
And I'm pregnant, and I was here 20 years ago, and we're in the 20th season, and she sang the way she did. I mean, you deserve it.
You deserve it.
Terry Crews has always been the man who brings energy, laughter, and heart to every stage he steps on. But recently, he revealed something about Jessica Sanchez that left fans stunned and questioning everything they thought they knew.
She's a little girl and didn't go in. And what a story, because this is how the story should end, where you learn never to give up on your dream, ever. Because she never did. And now she's up there and she's pregnant with her own little baby.
What started as a simple on-stage moment between the two has now turned into one of the most talked-about revelations in entertainment. What exactly did Terry confess? And why is everyone suddenly seeing Jessica in a whole new light? Stay with us to know. Terry and Jessica's on-stage interaction. Terry Crews has always been known for his big personality and larger-than-life energy. Whether he's flexing his muscles, cracking jokes, or spreading positivity, Terry knows how to light up a stage. His charisma and warmth make him the perfect host, someone who can turn an ordinary moment into a show-stopping one. But behind that confident smile lies a long journey of resilience and reinvention that brought him to where he is today. Before his Hollywood fame, Terry's story began on the football field. He played in the NFL during the 1990s, a dream he worked tirelessly for. But when injuries and short contracts ended his career early, he was left struggling financially, even working as a security guard to support his family. It was a tough chapter, but Terry refused to give up. His determination led him into acting, where his comedic timing and charm quickly caught attention. Roles in White Chicks, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and Everybody Hates Chris made him a household name. Through it all, Terry built a reputation not just as a performer, but as a symbol of perseverance, gratitude, and positive energy. That's why when he took the stage as host of America's Got Talent, audiences immediately connected with him. Terry brought the same passion and sincerity that defined his entire career. And on one unforgettable night, he introduced a young singer who would set social media ablaze, Jessica Sanchez. The lights dimmed, the music swelled, and Terry walked to the center of the stage, smiling wide as always. His booming voice filled the theater as he announced Jessica's name. The audience erupted in cheers, and Jessica appeared radiant and confident, every movement graceful. Cameras flashed as she took her place center stage. But then came a moment that caught everyone off guard. When Terry turned toward her, their eyes met, and something subtle yet electric passed between them. It wasn't overt tension, more like an unspoken connection, a spark that the audience felt even before they could define it. Terry's signature grin didn't falter, but there was an unmistakable flicker of surprise and admiration in his expression. Jessica returned a poised smile, ready to perform, but the audience sensed the weight of the moment. The judges exchanged glances, and within minutes, the internet exploded. Fans began dissecting clips, reading into body language, tone, and timing. Was it just mutual respect or something more? As Jessica began to sing, Terry stepped aside, his usual high energy replaced by quiet awe. He nodded along, visibly moved by her voice. When the performance ended, the room shook with applause. Terry congratulated her with that familiar warmth. But even as the confetti fell, something lingered in the air. A strange, thrilling uncertainty that left fans buzzing long after the show ended. No one knew it then, but this single moment would spark weeks of speculation, headlines, and countless theories. For Terry, who'd fought so hard to build a spotless reputation, and for Jessica, who was just stepping into her spotlight, this was only the beginning of a story no one saw coming. Behind the smiles and confetti, whispers began online. Fans started digging into Jessica's past, wondering if this on-stage spark had deeper roots. What old history might explain the sudden swirl of conflict? Stay with us to know. From Idol, hopeful to AGT Spotlight. Jessica Sanchez's journey is the kind of story that feels straight out of a movie, a mix of raw talent, heartbreak, and unstoppable resilience. She first captured hearts during her American Idol days. a young girl with a voice far bigger than her years. From her very first audition, people knew she was special. The judges couldn't hide their amazement as she hit every note with flawless control. And soon, Jessica became one of the season's standout performers. Her confidence grew with every song, and by the time she reached the finale, she was already being called one of the best voices in Idol history. But fame came with its own struggles. After American Idol, Jessica tried to keep her career going in an industry that often forgets its young stars as quickly as it discovers them. There were moments of success, live performances, recording opportunities, and loyal fans cheering her on, but also long stretches of silence. Behind the scenes, she faced personal challenges that tested her strength. In 2023, Jessica surprised fans when she announced that she was married to her longtime boyfriend and music collaborator, Omar Ramos. The two had met years earlier during a studio session and quickly bonded over their shared love of music and performing. What started as a friendship slowly turned into a deep relationship built on trust, patience, and mutual respect. Their wedding, held in an intimate ceremony surrounded by close family and friends, reflected Jessica's down-to-earth nature. She described it as the most peaceful and grounding moment of her life, a reminder that love and partnership could exist alongside ambition. Soon after, Jessica revealed another personal milestone: her pregnancy. The news caught fans by surprise, but also drew immense love and support. She opened up about the emotional roller coaster of preparing for motherhood while rebuilding her music career. In heartfelt interviews, she admitted it wasn't easy balancing two big chapters of her life, but she was determined to do both with grace. "My baby gave me a new reason to sing," she said in one post, "because now every lyric feels more personal." Her journey through pregnancy and early motherhood inspired many who had followed her since American Idol. Fans praised her honesty and courage in sharing the realities behind the spotlight, the sleepless nights, the doubts, and the moments of overwhelming joy. It was clear that Jessica wasn't just chasing fame anymore. She was creating a life built on love, strength, and meaning. When she returned to the stage on America's Got Talent, it felt like a rebirth. The same girl who once stood nervously before the Idol judges now walked out as a woman who had lived, loved, and learned. Her AGT audition was electric, raw, and emotional. The moment she started to sing, the entire room went still. The judges exchanged impressed glances, the audience rose to its feet, and Terry Crews, the ever-supportive host, looked genuinely moved as he introduced her. Week after week, Jessica kept proving she belonged there, her performances growing more powerful until she reached the finale. The night of the finale was emotional beyond words. The lights, the crowd, the music, everything built to a climax that celebrated her hard work, resilience, and faith. Fans around the world cheered for her comeback story, proud to see how far she had come. But as Jessica's star continued to rise, something unexpected started brewing online. Old controversies began to resurface, and whispers about her connection with Terry Crews took over social media. What exactly are people saying about Terry and Jessica? Let's find out. Controversial moments in Jessica's public life. Jessica Sanchez's career has always been surrounded by passion, talent, and, at times, controversy. From her early days on American Idol to her emotional America's Got Talent victory, she's faced both admiration and criticism from every corner of the internet. Her journey is proof that fame often walks hand in hand with scrutiny. One of the most heated moments in Jessica's public life came during the AGT finale. After 17 long weeks of performances, eliminations, and emotional highs, Terry Crews stepped forward to reveal the winner. The tension in the room was electric as he held the final card. Among the top 10 finalists were strong acts like Chris Turner, Jordan Blue, the Leo High School Choir, Lightwire, Mama Duke, Micah Palace, Circa Maria, Steve Ray Ladson, and Team Recycled. Each had their own fan following, but Jessica had something different, a personal story that deeply connected with viewers. When Terry announced her name as the winner, confetti filled the air, and Jessica's face lit up with disbelief and joy. It was a moment that should have been purely celebratory, but within minutes, social media erupted. "Chris got cheated, shame on y'all," one furious fan wrote on X. Others called it a sympathy win, accusing voters of letting emotions outweigh talent. "Jessica winning a GT only proves the best acts don't win," another viewer posted. A few even went so far as to suggest her pregnancy story had influenced votes, writing, "If you're pregnant or have a sob story, people will like you more." The backlash was immediate and intense. Some fans defended Jessica fiercely, saying she earned her win through sheer effort and talent. Others insisted freestyle rapper Chris Turner was robbed. The debate split the AGT fanbase in two, those who believed in Jessica's emotional journey and those who saw it as manufactured sympathy. Even the show's late time slot, changed the night before, added fuel to the fire, with many accusing the producers of manipulating outcomes for ratings. Media outlets quickly caught on. Headlines from tabloids like The Sun fanned the flames, calling her win the most controversial AGT finale yet. Comment sections filled with speculation, fan theories, and conspiracy claims. Every tweet, every clip, every facial expression from that night was replayed and dissected. Once again, Jessica found herself in the center of a storm, a familiar place for someone whose career has always sparked strong emotions. All this controversy made one thing clear: audiences were primed to believe anything about Jessica. So when whispers about her conflict with Terry Crews began spreading online, people were ready to jump to conclusions. But who really started those rumors and why? The answer will surprise you. Terry against Jessica. After Jessica's controversial America's Got Talent win, within hours new claims began spreading that hinted at tension between host Terry Crews and the newly crowned winner. Fan forums, YouTube comment sections, and even gossip outlets began pushing the same storyline. Terry wasn't happy about Jessica's victory. The rumors began with a short backstage clip showing Terry walking past Jessica after her win. His smile noticeably faded. Some viewers claimed he looked uncomfortable, while others said he avoided congratulating her properly. A few fan-edited videos zoomed in on the moment, adding dramatic captions like, "Terry knew it was rigged." Soon after, social media posts started suggesting that Terry had privately called the finale results unfair, accusing Simon Cowell and the judges of showing favoritism. This claim snowballed when a tabloid ran a headline reading, "Terry Crews calls out a GT for favoritism after Jessica's win." The article quoted anonymous on-set insiders who alleged that Terry believed Simon had pushed Jessica forward for emotional appeal. None of these quotes was verified, but they spread fast. Fan accounts began reposting the story, adding their own twists. Some even claimed Terry and Jessica had clashed backstage over the outcome. Meanwhile, snippets of Simon and Jessica's interaction on the finale stage only fueled the fire. During the broadcast, Simon had hugged Jessica and told her, "You've earned every second of this," smiling proudly as the crowd cheered. But a few viewers found his tone exaggerated, suggesting it looked rehearsed, a moment designed for the cameras. The narrative quickly shifted online. Jessica's win was pre-decided. Terry was furious, and Simon had played favorites. On platforms like Reddit and X, threads with titles like "Terry versus Jessica, What Really Happened?" gained thousands of comments. Fans analyzed Terry's expressions frame by frame, debating whether his applause looked forced. Others claimed they had inside info about his frustration with how the votes were handled. The combination of fan emotion, tabloid headlines, and out-of-context screenshots turned a few seconds of live television into a full-blown controversy. But despite all the noise, it's important to remember that none of these claims were confirmed. Terry never publicly attacked Jessica or Simon, and NBC made no official comment. Still, the way these rumors spread showed how quickly online chatter can shape public opinion, especially when emotions are high. What began as a simple talent show finale had now turned into a public debate about fairness, favoritism, and celebrity behavior. Every small moment, a glance, a pause, a word, was being turned into proof of hidden drama. As fan pressure grew louder and hashtags refused to die down, journalists and online investigators started digging deeper. What did official sources actually say about the situation? Was there any evidence to back the rumors, or was it all internet imagination? The answers might change how fans see everything. What's actually happened? To get to the bottom of it, it's important to step back and look at what can be proven, what's only rumored, and what's completely unsupported by credible evidence. First, the facts. On-air footage clearly shows Terry Crews hosting the America's Got Talent finale with his usual professionalism. He introduced Jessica, announced her victory, and congratulated her warmly on stage. There were no visible signs of hostility or discomfort. NBC's official recap highlighted Jessica's powerful performance and emotional win, but made no mention of any behind-the-scenes tension. Major entertainment outlets such as People and Variety focused solely on her comeback story, the fan reactions, and the excitement of the finale. None reported any verified conflict involving Terry. Next, the unverified claims. These include the viral social posts alleging that Terry called the results rigged, that he clashed with Jessica backstage, or that he accused Simon Cowell of favoritism. None of these statements appear in official interviews, verified press coverage, or public records. They originated from fan forums, anonymous insiders, and out-of-context clips circulating on X and TikTok. Without original sources or corroboration, these claims remain unconfirmed. Finally, the disproven or unsupported allegations. As of now, no reliable news outlet, not NBC, not The Sun, not any verified entertainment reporter, has published evidence that Terry and Jessica had any personal dispute. Both stars have continued their careers without making negative comments about each other. In fact, Jessica thanked the AGT team in a post-finale interview, while Terry has continued to promote the show positively on his social media. To evaluate stories like this, it helps to follow a few simple steps. First, check the original source. Did it come from an official interview or a random post online? Second, look for corroboration. Are multiple reputable outlets reporting the same thing? And third, consider intent. Is the story meant to inform or to attract clicks? Following these checks can separate truth from speculation, protecting both fans and public figures from harm. So far, the evidence points to one clear conclusion. The tension between Terry Crews and Jessica Sanchez was rumored, not real. The supposed feud lives only in the echo chambers of social media. But cleared or not, reputations are fragile. Once headlines fade, the question remains, what happens next for both stars? Let's reveal the likely outcomes. Jessica and Terry after the storm. In the weeks that followed the whirlwind of rumors, both Jessica Sanchez and Terry Crews took quiet but steady steps forward. The storm of speculation might have shaken public perception for a moment, but neither of them allowed it to define their paths. Instead, they focused on growth, reflection, and the bigger goals ahead. For Jessica, her America's Got Talent victory opened new doors. Offers began pouring in, collaborations, brand partnerships, and live performances across the country. But more than fame, Jessica seemed focused on purpose. In recent interviews, she spoke about wanting to use her story to inspire others, especially young women facing setbacks or judgment. She mentioned plans to release original music that reflects her journey through motherhood, resilience, and rediscovery. "I want my songs to speak to people who've fallen down and stood up again," she said in one emotional segment. It's clear Jessica isn't just chasing chart success. She's building a legacy rooted in authenticity. Terry, on the other hand, continued doing what he does best, spreading positivity and laughter. The controversy, though frustrating, reminded him of the importance of accountability and truth in the digital age. Known for his openness, he briefly addressed the issue by encouraging fans to think critically about what they read online. He spoke about healing and forgiveness, not just for himself, but for a culture that thrives on conflict. "We can't control what people say," he shared in a motivational post, "but we can control what we give energy to." Beyond hosting, Terry has been developing new projects that focus on mentorship and mental health, causes close to his heart. Both stars seem determined to move past the noise, focusing instead on creativity, compassion, and positive influence. Their professional lives are thriving again, but the experience left them and their audiences with a lasting reminder. Rumors, no matter how harmless they seem, can ripple out and cause real harm. It takes strength to rebuild trust and focus on what truly matters. As the headlines faded and fans began shifting to the next viral topic, peace seemed to return. Until one night, a new clip surfaced online. The grainy backstage video claimed to show a moment between Jessica and Terry that no one had seen before. The internet lit up once again, buzzing with theories and questions. Is this the end of the story or the start of a sequel? What do you think? Was this whole story blown out of proportion, or is there more to it than we know? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to check out the next story on your screen.